So, hey, what's up? How you doing, Cam?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
So, just for the purpose of the interview, what's your full name, how old you are, stuff like that?
My name is Cameron Alexander Nurse. 23. Wow, 23 years old. From Toronto, Canada.
Okay.
Six side. You know how it is.
Six.
And I ran sprints, specialized in the 200. Yeah, that's me.
So, so when did you first get into track? Kind of what age, kind of what grade?
Well, it's a complicated question. I ran track for the first time freshman year of high school, but it was kind of just for fun. I was playing basketball and playing soccer, so I kind of just ran track to fill the time. But I ended up really liking it. So my sophomore year, I dropped soccer and did track and basketball simultaneously. And I did really well, came third at states or provincials because I'm Canadian. And I started to really love the sport, so I dropped basketball because I wasn't growing tall enough. And everyone was growing more than I was, so I had to change positions. It was the whole thing. So I had to move. I moved to track, focused on it full time. So I would say I finally committed myself to track junior year of high school.
Okay.
And that's probably when I started to fall in love with the sport. Probably. Yeah.
Besides the success, was there any other qualities of track that that made you stick around?
See, that's difficult. Something I've played with a lot because some of my friends who are also retired talk about how they miss workouts and miss how it feels to die during practice, and I don't have that. I don't have that at all. I don't miss the lactic acid. I don't miss throwing up. But what I do miss is working towards a goal and being meticulous about how you're approaching achieving that goal. I miss the process, the grind, but not the feeling of the grind. I miss being totally obsessed about how I'm running, how I'm moving, and knowing that everything I was doing was to achieve the goal that I set out for myself. But in terms of the day-to-day, I miss running fast. I love running fast, but I don't like running fast for longer than 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Other than that. But I would say the meticulousness, the obsessiveness is what I miss the most probably.
And then you said you're talking about goals. So did you have, obviously, you're doing well, commit yourself junior year, focus on senior year. Senior year, were your goals to run in Canada? Were your goals to come? How did you, get to Boston?
The goal for me was always to come to the States. As I said, I play basketball. So watching March Madness every year, the goal was to go to the States. It's just that it happened I came here for track instead of basketball. So junior year, going into junior year, I felt like it was the year for me to really achieve that goal because in my head, you sign around January, February. So what you did the previous spring is what coaches will be looking at. So my junior year spring was the year that I really wanted to focus on. And I would say that that's the year I fell in love with track because it's the year I had the most success. It was the year I made the youth national team for Canada. And the way I made it it made it so much more than what it actually was. Even though, making the national team is great.
Yeah.
I didn't make it until the last weekend to qualify.
Oh, really?
Because the meet was before nationals, so they were just taking the top 2 times in the nation for each event. So going into the last weekend, I was third. And my dad was like, this is it. This is either you do it or you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And he put me in a meet with grown men. So one, I wanted to make the team. And 2, I didn't want to get embarrassed
Yeah.
in front of everybody. So the first day on Friday, I ran the 4 and I ran 48.5, which is like a 2.5 PR.
Oh,
And the next day, I ran 21.5, which was like a half a second PR. I ran like 21.9
yeah.
the week before. So like the adrenaline rush and just like seeing the time and like knowing that like that time put me on the team, like it's a feeling I haven't really felt often.
I can do this. Like I put in the work.
Yeah.
Did this at a goal.
Yeah, like I feel like there's two people in track and field. Like the reason why you love the sport, and like either you love like the sport and you love running, or like you love those moments that like fill you with that like joy and adrenaline, and just like you just want to scream. And like I fall into that camp. Like that's why I run.
I completely agree. That's cool. So, you made the national team your senior year. You're looking to go to colleges. How was like the decision on that?
Man.
Thinking like where to go.
Senior year, man. Senior years, they just don't go well for me, bro. It's crazy. But so junior year, right? I don't know how it is in the States, but in Canada, your freshman year, you run against freshmen. Your sophomore year, you run against sophomores. But your junior year, you run against seniors and juniors. So in the 200-meter final, in my junior year, I was the only junior in the final. After the race, I come like fourth. And the guy who won and the guy who came second are like, yo, Cam, like, you know, next year, it's all you, blah, blah. I'm like, of course it is. Like, I'm the only person here. Like, it doesn't even matter. And then I hear rumors going into my senior year that Bilotti is coming back. Like, Bilotti is coming for a 5th year. I was like, they don't do 5th years in high school. What are you talking about? So like, you know, Toronto track and field's kind of like smaller.
And Bilal's the one. Was he first or second?
He was first.
Okay.
But the guy who came second also came back. But I just didn't know. I just didn't know at the time. But Toronto track and field is kind of small, so like everyone, when it gets cold, everyone goes to the same indoor facility because there's only like a couple, and this is like the best one. So everyone who's anybody is at this facility. And then I go to my first practice and I see Bilotti running, and I'm like, yo, what is he doing here? What is he doing here? I'm like, yo, Bo, what's going on? He's like, oh man, my eligibility is just like it fell through. I don't know what happened. So like I just came back. I'm like, that's like, it's supposed to be my year. This is my year. So, you know, I was more focused on getting a scholarship at that point. But I had a visit to Cornell early December, and I came to BU mid-December because they were doing their finals. I spent most of my visit actually in study hall, which was fine because I also had finals to study for, but like it wasn't the ideal visit. And not that I regret my decision to go to BU, I regret how quickly I committed, because it was the first. Cornell's an Ivy, so they were like, oh, we can give you financial aid, but we can't give you a scholarship because Ivies don't do that. So BU was the first school to give me a scholarship. I got responses from other schools. University of Toronto offered me like 30% or something. And University of Wisconsin offers me like 60. So BU was the first to give me like a scholarship. Like, we'll pay for everything. And I also liked the school. The department was really good. I liked the people, so I committed like the next week. And then I went to Spire because I already like registered for the collegiate showcase. And you know, I showed out, obviously. That's what I do. And then I got responses from Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State a month after I committed. And I had to tell them like I can't come. And not that I would have went to those schools, but it would have been nice to visit and like, but I didn't, like for me, the end goal was, in high school at least, the end goal was always to get to the States and to get my education paid for. So at the end of the day, I probably would have picked BU because it's the better academic school. Maybe it would have been between BU and Michigan, but I don't regret my decision. I kind of regret not playing the field a little more.
Yeah.
You know, getting more visits, talking to people, you know, free flights, free food, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you know.
But back to senior year, I was training super hard. It was the hardest I ever trained in my life. And, you know, I ran through regionals easy because it's my time. And I didn't see Balade till provincials, which is states. Also, Dion, who came second in my junior year, he was in my club, but on a different sprints team. So I didn't see him until provincials either. But I knew that he was back. But I was like, he's whatever, he's nothing. Like, because he was really talented, but he didn't train. So I was like, he's not gonna see me. I work way harder than him. And I see what he be doing, so like, he's nothing. And then he actually ended up being in my heat at States. And my dad, before the race, was like, show him what's up. Just run 150 and then shut down, just to show him like what's good. And I think I ran like 21.7, and he ran like 22 flat. And I just walked off the track. But going into the 200-meter final, I knew that I was going to take like 21 low, like a time I never ran before, because Balade ran 21.0 the year before. So I was like, if he goes 20 point, like I don't know if I can run with him. But we got to just go. And I don't know what happened, bro, but like that was the worst curve I've ever run, ever. Like, I don't know if the pressure got to me. I don't know like what happened, but like I came off the corner and last. And I was like, yo, like what's happening? And like everything just went blank, and I ran him down. I didn't beat Balade, came second, but I edged Dion by like .0001. And the funny thing is that before the race, Dion was like, yo, if I don't come second, like top two, I'm not getting the medal. Like I'm not getting it. And I was like, well then, you might as well just walk off the track, because like I'm coming top two. And we all know Balade about to, you know, work this shit. So you might as well just walk off the track now, because why run? And like when I leaned, I looked over and I saw that I got him, and I was like, yo, I appreciate you, because I feel like I got carried from off the corner to the finish line. I don't know what happened. But I was pissed because I wasn't going to disrespect Balade and be like, oh, I knew I was going to beat him, but I felt like I should have been more in the race.
In the competition.
Yeah. So when it came to the 4x4, the 4x4 is a whole story, bro. It's a whole story. But my junior year, we had a squad. And then one guy got into a fight the week before states, and he was ineligible. So then we got slapped. We didn't make the final. And then one of my friends who was on the team, he was a senior in my junior year, and I was like, yo, like if you come back, we could really do this shit. Like we could really do it. And he was like, I'll think about it. But he came back, and the whole season I was anchoring the 4x4. But at states, like I came off, I did what I usually do, you know, 400s, 500s. I came out the corner like flying, and then just everything like, and like it wasn't the best finish. And we at states in the final, we were racing against Justin Knight's team, and my coach was like, Cameron, you're gonna run third. And I was like, yo, that coach, like, I'm the anchor though. Yeah. And he was like, no, like, you know, we need someone who can close, who's the 800 guy in our team. Yeah. Like if it's tight, I can't have you like getting tight. I can't have you locking up. I'm like, all right. And Justin Knight was actually on my leg. And me and Justin go way back. We played basketball against each other since like we were in middle school. So we were talking shit, like before we got the baton. And his school was way ahead, like at least 20 meters. And he was talking, he was like, yo, Cam, like we're about to win this. And I was like, trust me, I'm gonna get you before I get off the corner. And I did that, obviously. You know, ran, split like 47. We won the race. It was my first and only state championship medal. So I went crazy. I was going off, screaming, crying, low key. Because states actually that year was in my hometown.
Oh, really?
So my whole family was there. So like, you know, it meant a little more. And then freaking Sanders, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, it's whatever. I wanted to make the national team again, but when I made the national team as a youth, I was in the top age of the youths. So like it was 15 and 16, and I was 16. But then the next year for juniors, I was 17, and I wanted to make the 18. So I had to race against Balade, Andre, all them niggas. So my bad. And you know, like Sanders, you know, since he was my future coach and he was the college coach, I just thought that he knew like so much, you know. And I was talking to him, and I was like, I want to get my corner better, because I feel like if I got off the corner in like a better position, like 5th instead of last, I would have beat Balade. And he gave me this workout to do, and I pulled my hamstring in that workout a week before nationals. Yeah. And then I still went to nationals because they bought me a ticket and I had a hotel room, and this was gonna be my last time going there with my boys like Marcel and Jordan and them. So I went anyway, and the national team coach, he was probably trying to make me feel better, but it made me feel like even worse, because he was like, you're not running? I was like, nah, man, like I pulled my hamstring. And he was like, all you had to do was step on the line, and I would have put you on the 4x1. Like, all you had to do was step on the line. And I was like,
trying to worry about
well,
work on that,
I can't. So thanks for telling me, I guess. Yeah, man, that was senior year, though. It was a whirlwind. It was a good time, but I didn't achieve any of the goals I wanted to besides the 4x4. Yeah, man. I went to college. Rest is history.
So for college, I mean, obviously, like when you're on your visit to BU,
Mhm.
you're hoping to get obviously your school paid for when you're here, set for finals. So I'm assuming academics is big for you.
Yeah.
So what were your like academic goals / career, you know, post?
See, I still don't have a direction in terms of what my career is going to be, but I knew I majored in biomedical engineering.
Okay.
So I knew that I needed to focus on my academics. My dad has a master's and my mom has a doctorate, so me going to university was never really a question. I was going to go to university. I always had a fascination about running mechanics and prosthetics and how to like meld the two together. So prosthetics was kind of the avenue I went down. I was going down when I came here. So academics was a big reason why I came here, and it's like, because I feel like BU is well renowned, but not an Ivy League, so they can still give me money. But academics really drove me to, it probably made my time at BU a little harder. Choosing a major that isn't really accepting of athletes and doesn't really conform to like anything. Like you're gonna miss a quiz, you get 0 on the quiz, even though like I'm missing the quiz so I can represent the institution that you work for. Like it's not my fault, but hey, it's whatever. Yeah, so academics is a really big part of my life. As you can tell, I'm still in school. Continuing school, going to Vanderbilt next year, PhD. Look out. Well, 6 years from now when I have it. But I'm out here. Yeah, man. So it was rough freshman year because, as my brother over there knows, freshman year engineering is, whoa. Whoa. I don't know if they did this to you, but like in EK 100, which is like the introductory class, the guy talking was like, look to your left and then look to your right. Only one of you is going to graduate. And I was like,
sorry.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to make it. Trust me. And then my first Chem 101 exam, they released the grades before we went to class, which was probably a mistake because like it was our first test. It was my first test in engineering, my first test in university, and I got a 39%. Like, and I was like, what? I called my dad. I was like, yo, I'm not built for this. I'm not built for this. I need to switch to comm or something. I don't know what's going on, bro. And then he was like, well, what was the average? I was like, I don't know what the average was. It doesn't matter what the average was. I failed. I failed the test. And then I got to class, and they're like, yeah, the average was a 28. So if you got, this grade, then you got a C. If you got 35 or higher, you got a B minus. I was like, I got a B minus on the test? But I got 39%. It's whatever, though. It's whatever. So freshman year was a lot like that. Just trying to beat the curve, beat the average. Yeah. But you get the hang of it, catch your feet, all that kind of stuff.
So now that you're in college, adjusting to your BME, probably one of the, I would say one of the hardest majors to get, and then you're also running to, how did, just collegiate track look? Whether you want to use it in comparison to high school or just talk about it in its own?
So, collegiate track, man, I don't have any regrets because I gave it everything that I gave it, everything I had. But I wish that the coaching was a little different. Not just with like the replacements and stuff. Even like just coming from my high school coach was. I think that he could be the national coach if he had the temperament and the people skills and everything. But he was very meticulous about how we were running, our form, how we were applying force, everything. So I ran 21.3 winded out of high school without lifting. I didn't touch a weight. So going into college, I was like, I'm about to be a monster. I saw at Patriot Leagues, Cam and David ran 21.4. Justin ran 21.6. I was like, I'm about to come and be the best on this team. Y'all not about to see me.
I'm skinny, and y'all.
Yo, I'm out here. Y'all not even ready for me, bro. So I came in talking shit. Just being a hot-headed freshman, you know what I'm saying? And I'll never forget, this was the workout. I was like, oh, this is different. Y'all on a different level. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because when we would do sprint workouts, I would be, except for blocks, because, blocks were never my thing. I would be with Cam and Justin, whatever. Near the end, they would kind of pull away from me, but first few reps, I'm right there. And a race is 1 rep, so we're not about to do 8 200s. So, but we went to Summit, and it was the first time I got put with the long sprinters because technically I ran the 4, even though I told them I ran the 2, and that's all I do. So we did clusters, which is a sprint up, jog down. We did 1 cluster of 80, 100, and 120. So we ran up, jog down for 5 minutes, 80, 100, 120. And then we jogged back to the track and went to Nickerson.
Wait, before you get, can you explain Summit exactly?
Oh, Summit? Y'all don't know what Summit is. Summit Ave is the steepest hill I've ever seen in my life. There are probably steeper hills like Everest and shit, but Summit Ave is the steepest hill I've seen and had to run up. So, for those who don't know, for track, you run up hills to get stronger and, you know, develop speed endurance and whatnot. So, we would run up the hill and then jog down the hill for 5 minutes. Yeah. And then we jogged back to Nickerson, which is the BU home track. And the short sprinters did 4 150s, and the long sprinters did 4 250s with 2 minutes rest. And at the time, there was 4 long sprinters, including me. It was me, David, Steve, and Alistair. And so Steve, being the business captain that he was like, since there's 4 and there's 4 of us, we should all lead one. And I was like, if we're all leading one, I'm leading the first one because I don't know what it's gonna look like at the end, right? So the first one, I get on the line, I'm feeling okay, you know, I'm feeling kind of recovered. I go out, like I'm working, because he said he wanted him like 30, which is not slow.
Yeah.
And I'm working, and I start kind of buckling at 200, and this man David pulls up beside me, and he's like, come on, Cam, mid-rep. We're still running. And this man's clapping beside me, come on, Cam, you got it. I was like, what are you talking about, bro? And that's when I was like, oh, he's different. You know, a different level. And then Cam, in the 200 at the opening meet in December, it was me and Cam in the 2. And I was in lane 6, he was in lane 5. And I was like, you know, like we be banging in practice. So like, it's whatever. And you know Cam, he don't really be trying to practice. So obviously he just dropped 21.2 on my head top. And I ran 21.9, which is the first time I went sub 22 indoors in my entire life.
Yeah.
Which is like, I felt happy, but I was also like, I just got disrespected. Like, he just slapped me. But, you know, you gotta take it, like track is more personal than it is interpersonal, you know. Just because he did better than me doesn't mean I didn't make improvements, which is something that I had to learn over the course of my collegiate career. Because, you know, I was still new to the sport when I came into college. But, so, you know, I went home and I told my coach, I told him like, yo, I told him what happened, like these stories I'm telling you, I told him, I was like, I don't want to ever be disrespected like that, ever. Like, I want to work to be the best. So I did 2-a-days that Christmas. I went home early. So I was doing 2-a-days for like 3 weeks. And I came back, I was ready, bro.
Yeah.
I was ready. Like, I don't think people understand how ready I was. Like, I was trying to tell Cam how ready I was, bro. He wasn't listening, obviously, because he just slapped me last meet.
Yeah.
But our first week back, because for, you know, you come back a week early, so school hasn't started yet. You're just practicing. I think it was the Tuesday, we ran 150s all out in spikes, lane 6. But Sanders was doing it in a way that Coach Lambert used to do it, where you would run individually, but he was yelling out the times, like, to like have like competition. It was still a competition, but like you're focusing on your own lane. So Jordan goes first. He runs 16.1. Then Justin goes. He runs 16.0. And then Cam goes. And Cam runs 15.7. No, 15.6. And, you know, he starts hyping me up. He's like, you know, we got the sensation from Canada, blah, blah, blah. Like, man, these is not ready for what's about to happen. I've been grinding for this. Been working for this. And like, if you ask like Justin and Cam, like they probably don't even remember like the times, but I do because I was working for this, bro. I crossed the line. He's like 15.5. I was like, oh boy, oh. And, you know, obviously, I'm talking my shit because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I told y'all not ready for me, bro. Y'all not ready. And I don't know if Justin was upset because I slapped him, or, you know, he got a little hype, but he started talking back to me. So, you know, we're going back and forth, and then Sanders like, yo, want to run another one? J-Love's like, nah. Cam's like, nah. And I was like, fuck it, of course. This man Justin's trying to talk. Let's go. Get this money. And he was like, it's just y'all two? I was like, yeah. And he was like, you want to race? And I was like, see, I don't know, bro. It's like, it's the end of practice. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to like really do that. And Justin was like, so you're scared? I was like, yo, get on the line, bro. Get on the line.
Get on the line now. Stop talking.
And I knew that Justin was the kind of guy to get out, so I was like, I have to just stay with him. And once we get up, I'm gone. We get out, and we're like neck and neck, so I'm feeling nice. The second I stand up, pop, 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 my hamstring just pops, just goes. And that was like, freshman year is kind of just like that instance over and over and over again, which like was real frustrating, bro. Like, I never felt like so ready and so fast, but my body just wasn't like ready to do it, which was like probably like the hardest 4 months I had to deal with as an athlete. Just like seeing, because that was the year that Justin, David, Alistair, and Cam broke the 4x1 record.
So you're like, bro.
And like, no offense to Alistair, I love you, buddy. Don't worry about this. I was like, I'm better than him.
Yeah.
Like, I should be on the team. Like, if it was Jordan, maybe I'd be like, all right, like, you know, we'd be banging. But Alistair, I was like, nah, bro. Like, it's not even fair. Like, it's not fair. And yeah, I had to go through. I went through a lot that year. Just a lot of like personal battles about like if I even want to do this, like, because you know it's heartbreaking to get injured, but it's even more heartbreaking to work hard to get back and then get injured again and have to sit out and watch, and then watch your team do great, and while you're
like want to be happy with it, but
yeah,
like, bro, I want to be happy.
I also want to be doing great, you know. So freshman year was rough, but it was a time that I think I needed as an athlete to like grow, because I was still pretty immature in my approach to the sport. Because, you know, as an athlete, as a track athlete, which is like part of the reason why it was hard to continue after, but it's also part of the reason why I loved it, is because you have to be meticulous about what you do and about everything you do, not just about practice, but about lifting and about stretching, about eating, sleeping, everything. Like, it's like it encompasses everything. So like I felt like freshman year, you know, I started lifting for the first time, started getting strong, started getting bigger. I felt like what I was doing off the track didn't really accommodate what my body was going through. Like, I wasn't flexible enough. I wasn't running properly. I was just running fast. So I needed that time to, like, you know, get my mind right, get my routines right, and everything like that. Which is why sophomore year, when I got injured again, I've never been so upset in my life. Like when I tell you I was doing yoga twice a week in the summer, I was working on my form every day. I was working. And when I felt that pop at Terrier, I was like, this can't be real. This can't be real. Like, there's no way this is happening. But I was able to get back, which was blessed. I ran 21.7 at conferences. But then seeing Cam run 20.5, I was like, like, come on. Like, I'm happy for you. I get it. But, like,
Should be up there at least banging with you.
yeah, that should be me. Like, I should be there. What David's doing with you, I should be doing. So that was frustrating. And then I pulled again. Wow, I pulled so many times, bro. I pulled again the day before we left for Miami. Yeah, the day before we left. So, like, I still went to Miami because they had my ticket and everything, so I still went. But then, you know, watching them run without me was still like, damn. And then Justin tore his hamstring on the relay. And, you know, in the moment, I kind of just forgot that my hamstring was also not great. So I ran over there and I was helping him. I was helping him walk. And, like, I guess the adrenaline of seeing my friend get hurt, like, wore off almost instantly. And I was like, oh, he got his weight on me. Oh, whoa. But so Justin pulled up at Miami, then we went to Texas, and Roby, like, hurt his hip flexor or quad or something, which kind of expedited my recovery because my injury was the least severe out of those three. So they needed me to come back for the relay. Which was frustrating for me because I didn't want to just come back for the relay. Like, I wanted to come back for me. I wanted to come back to, like, 21 mid, 21 low form. I didn't want to just, like, Lambert's goal for me was to be able to run the first 90, hand off the Cam, and that was it. Like, that was the objective, which was something that I had to wrap my head around. It wasn't until David Lagerberg sat me down and he was like, yo, we have a chance to do something great if you can, like, get right and get healthy. And committing myself to the team was difficult because track's individual. Like, I didn't really, like, want to just run the relay. But I did because, you know, the team wanted me. I really respect David. I love David. So, you know, if he asked me to do something, like, I'm going to do it, you know. And we ended up running 39.9 that year, which was exciting but devastating at the same time because we ran 39.9 and we came 14th at regionals and top 12 make it. I was like, yo, this is not like, yeah, like, if I was like 100%, like, there's no way that we don't make nationals. And it was just like, it was rough to, like, deal with that, especially with it being David's last year. It was like, sorry, we couldn't pull it out for you, you know? And then we looked at the West regionals and we would have came like 8th. Which was probably a mistake. We shouldn't have even looked because why? we can't petition to the NCAA. So, like, that was frustrating. But going into junior year, I was like, this year's all about me. I don't care about the relay. I don't care about anything except me because I felt like I was 20-point ready for the past 2 years. I just wasn't able to run. So everything that I did junior year was to basically prove to myself that I was right. You know, like, I really am who I think I am. So it was an unruly grind. Like, I haven't worked that hard in every facet of the sport. You know, I didn't drink that year. I lifted more. I slept a lot, like more than I've slept ever. 8 hours of sleep a day. I had like an alarm I had class at 8. I had to wake up at 7. I'm going to bed at 11. I had to wake up at 6. I'm going to bed at 10. Like, so that was just a different grind. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it in the season, which Coach Jay didn't stop talking about, because at conference, I don't know if you remember, if at conference in the 200, Lambert was like, shut down at 150.
Yeah.
I want you to send a message. So I came out the corner, shut down, did my little look around, where'd everybody at? Crossed the line, I ran like 21. Coach Jay was like, that was the race.
Yeah.
Like, that was the race. And I was like, don't worry, I'll get in the final. Like, the final, there's more adrenaline, Cam's right there. You'll be blessed. And then the final came, it's raining.
Yeah.
There's a headwind. It's cold. I was like, damn, I should have ran through that line yesterday, bro. And then I was like, it's fine. Like, Cam's still here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll still pull me to something. And, like, this is one thing that I learned probably a little too late. I don't know about too late. I guess it was my second last year running, but my whole race plan that day was latch on to Cam.
Yeah.
Like, just hook on to him and just let him pull you. He about to run like 20.6. So if you're right there, 20 point is right there.
Yeah.
All you have to do is hook on to him. And then he false started. And he was gone. Like, my race plan was gone. Like, so at first I was like, shit, what am I supposed to do now?
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm supposed to win this race.
Yeah.
Like,
Now
I'm supposed to win this race. It's like, this is my race to lose now. Totally different feeling. Instead of being like in a race where if I win, it's a total surprise.
Yeah.
To like, if I lose,
Went from like,
it's an upset.
I gotta get the time for myself because like Cam's got the team.
Yeah.
So now it's like, oh, shit, I gotta get the team.
Yeah,
Get my time.
and get the time.
And this all happens within like seconds.
Yeah.
After.
And then, oh man, like, I'd never been so like visibly upset on the track before. But like, I came out the corner, just like senior year of high school. Like, I came out the corner like in last,
Yeah.
and I worked to get back. But this time when I leaned and I looked at Devin from Navy, he leaned and he threw his arm up like this. And he beat me by like 0.0000001. And I was like, you gotta be f***ing kidding me. There's no way that just happened. There's no way. Because like, one thing, ever since that time, junior year, when I made the team on the last day,
Yeah.
one thing I always pride myself on is, like, when I need to do it, I'm gonna do it.
At the end, yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm clutch. That's what I do. Like, when you need me to do it, I'm gonna do it. And I couldn't pull it out, like, and it just didn't feel like me. It didn't feel like it was real. And like, he was all hype, talking shit, and I was like, you won on a technicality, dog.
Yeah.
Like, who dives like this, bro? Get out of here. I was so upset. I've never been so upset in my life. And yeah, man. But then since I was healthy that year, that was the first time I could go on the Canadian circuit and run provincials and run nationals for like the first time. So the goal that year was to run at FISU, which is the World University Games.
Yeah.
So I think I was ranked like 4th in the 200 for university athletes. One of those guys were like 28, but he was doing the master's program, so he counts. But whatever. And Cam was also trying to, go to U.S. trials for world champs, I think. So we were training together like every day. And then I went home and I went to my Canadian coach and I was like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to make the team because I haven't made a team in a long time. So I worked with him for like 3 weeks And you know, he always like follows me on my flow track and runner space and stuff. So he knew what my deficiencies were. So I did a lot of speed work. I did a lot of starts because I could always close. Like closing was never the problem, except for the 400 and the 500. But the closing was never the problem. It was always getting out. So when I went to Windsor for provincials, I ran the 2, and this guy, Dwayne, if you're watching this, you're a bitch, but whatever. This man, Dwayne, he ran 20.95 in the heat before me. And I was like, I'm better than Dwayne. Like, I've always been better than Dwayne in the 200. He ran like 10.3, like in the 2. I've always been better than Dwayne. So like, if he runs 20 point, I'm definitely about to go 20 point. It's not even. And I got out, and I got out faster than I ever got out in my life. And I crossed the line, but like I was looking at the clock, which is something you should never do, because like I got started to get a little tight, and I crossed the line. And when I crossed the line, I just crouched down, and I was like, please, this has to be the time. It has to be. And the announcer was like, Cameron Nurse, 20.96. And I was like, yes, go. Like, screaming, cursing, everything, like jumping up and down. I never felt like so ecstatic since like junior year of high school. Like, I was hyped. And because it was kind of like validation for me. Like, you know, like I've always felt like I could do this. And there's people that didn't think that I could do this, or people that think that the 200 is not my event, or all that kind of stuff. And it kind of just felt like I like validated myself in like choosing this path. But then they were like in a 2.2 wind, so it was illegal. It didn't count. And the thing was that my legal time was at that year was 21:24 at Brown, into a negative 2.5, by the way. But the FISU qualifying time, like to be eligible for the team, you have to run 21:20. So like I wasn't eligible for the team. So, you know, I cool down, you know, I'm getting ready for the final, and my dad comes and he's like, the wind is like not slowing down. Like, I don't know if we should run. And I was like, I have to try. Like, there's no, like, I don't want to bet it all on nationals, because like you can still qualify at nationals, but I don't want to go into nationals without qualifying. Like, I want to have the time and just focus on beating everybody else at nationals. So he's like, all right, you know, you could run it, but if it's not legal, it's not going to count. And I was like, yeah, it's just, either way, it's a rep, you know? So, you know, I warm up, I'm getting ready, and the wind is blowing. Like, I'm like, this is not about to be legal. Like, this is not. And, you know, the 200s come, and the wind just dies down. I don't know what happened. It just stopped. And the gun goes off. And I don't remember anything for those 20 seconds. But I ran 20.82 into like a plus 0.9 or something, 0.9. And if I thought I was ecstatic before, whoa. Whoa. Yo, I was hyped. My coach was hyped. He was in the stands. Marceau was lit. My dad was hyped. My dad never gets excited, bro. My dad never gets excited. Bro, like, he would stand at the same spot every race in high school. It'd be the stands are obviously on the home stretch. He would stand at the top corner of the home stretch, like right above the finish line. And he'd always be standing like this. And after the race, I would always just look up like that. And he'd either be like, or he'd be like, Nah, except for when I ran 20.5, 21.5, and he was like, which made me upset. Like after I ran 21.5, I went to him and I was like, yo, it's lit, I made the team. And he was like, you got things to work on. And I was like, no, but what made me upset is that going into the race, like the day before the race, I was like, I really want to make this team. And he was like, well, you ran 21.9 and you're third. Second place is 21.8. Third place is 21.7. I mean, first place is 21.7. And if you put like a good race together, a perfect race together, you could probably run like 21.78, 21.75. And I run 21.51. And he gonna be like, you got stuff to work on. What are you talking about? You said if I ran a perfect race, I would run 0.2 slower, which means I ran better than a perfect race. You should be ecstatic. You should be doing backflips. And he was just like, nah, man, you got things to do. You know what I'm saying? But back to junior year, I ran 20.8, which puts me top 2 in the university rankings or whatever in Canada. But it's not like I'm top 2 by a lot. Like first is like 21.78, 20.78. Then it's me 20.82, and then it's that guy who's like 28 years old. He ran 20.88, and then Drellin, who went to Ohio State with Dwayne, ran 20.90, and then Dwayne ran 20.95. Like it's like if you slip up, you're not making the team. Yeah. Like, bro, you don't understand. I get to the thing, I get to the pre-meet, you know, I'm warming up or whatever, and I see everyone over there. Like everyone I just named is over there looking at the heat sheets. And I go over there, I'm like, what up, bro? How you doing? You know, it's late, blah, blah. And Dwayne looks at me, he's like, I'm sorry, bro. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you got lane 1. I was like, you're lying. Ugh. You're lying. There's no way. There's no way I got lane 1. There's no way. Like, I'm like, I'm in the top echelon of the thing. I shouldn't be in lane 1. Like, it should be into out. And they were like, nah, like it's heats, it's random. Like Aaron Brown is in lane 2 in your heat. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. So they got lane 6 and I gotta beat them from lane 1 in a different heat? Like I'm not even racing them? This is fraudulent. Don't understand. So we run or whatever. I run like 21.3, something like that. But it's still good enough to put me 5th. Yeah. 5th? Yeah, 5th in the rankings. They're taking top 2. But I heard before that Drellin and Dwayne's Ohio State coaches didn't want them running FISU because it's like it ended in like late August, and like, it would kind of mess up the season. So I was like, okay, so they're out, and that put me 3rd. I just need one more person to drop, and then Luke Canis, who's this French guy, he already made the Francophone Games team, which was that summer, which also made me upset because they took the calendar year instead of the season. So like that season, I ran faster than he did. But like the last season, he ran faster than I did that year. So they took him instead of me. And I was like, but I'm faster right now. But whatever. So I talked to him. I was like, you know, are you going to go to FISU? And he was like, I don't know, man. I'm already on the Francophone team. And I was like, but like, you know, you should probably do that, you know, focus on that one. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, word. So I kind of left nationals thinking like maybe I'm on the team. And then the announcement comes out and it has Luke Canis' name on it. And I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. Who? It's okay. It's okay, it's a sign. It would have messed up my senior year, you know what I'm saying? Going to my senior year, it has to be great. I want to go to Eugene. I've been trying to go to Eugene for the past like 5 years of my life. Because World Juniors, when I got hurt, senior year of high school, was at Eugene. And then every year in college, the goal was to go to Eugene. So senior year, I was like, this is it. Like, this is it for me. And then what, December? December, I break the 300 record with ease. Like, not with ease, but like, obviously I died the last 50.
Yeah, but early in the season.
But like, early in the season, and also like I wasn't sprinting the first two. So I felt like at 250 I would have died either way. I could be jogging and I would die. But if I hit it a little harder, maybe I go like 33.6, 33.5. But I remember that Cam ran 33.9 the last year. So I was like, okay, so like I'm on pace. And then we come back for Christmas and I run 21.4 indoors. And like looking at my history, which like wasn't the case, which pissed me off. But every year, indoors to outdoors, I dropped a second.
Oh, so that's like 20 by 4.
That's what I was thinking. Like, because with the year before, I run 21.7. Outdoors, I run 20.8.
Yeah.
The year before, I didn't run outdoors. The year before, I didn't run outdoors. But in high school, I ran 22 mid. Outdoors, I'm running 21 mid. Like, it just like, it makes sense that I'm about to run 20.4, 20.6 at the worst. We go to Bucknell, flat track, whatever, it happened. And then we go outdoors, and the first 200, were you in that race? It was Miami, and it was in the heat. It was me, Kyle from Northeastern, and Taylor McLaughlin.
I was in it, but I saw it.
And I was like, all right, so either I go 20-point or I get slapped. And I got slapped. I ran like 21.2. And Taylor dropped like 20.8, and Kyle ran 20.9. And Kyle is a person I don't like. I don't like that guy, bro. Because like, the year that I was hurt the whole year and I decided to just focus on the relay, Jay Love was running really fast. And he made New England's, well, he made IC48, but we went to New England's because David wanted to graduate and all that kind of stuff. We went to New England's and he ran against Kyle on the 200. Kyle ran like 21.1 into a -2. And Jordan ran like 21.2 into a -2. But for the first 150, this man Jordan about to run 20 point. He was flying. I was like, oh, he fast.
Yeah.
But then at 150, you know, he never had the strength, one, and that wind is heavy. So he hit a wall. And to this day, like, that's the only reason Kyle beat him that day. The only reason. After the race, you know, we're talking to Jordan, telling him, like, you know, what it looked like. And this man Kyle want to come over here and say, be like, oh, you know, Jordan, thanks for pushing me, and walk away. Like, you know, he would have slapped you, right? Like, he would have worked you. So would not even been close. Anyways, I don't like that guy. He always says like slick comments and shit. So the fact that he ran 20 point made me upset. And then the next 2 weeks later was Florida relays. And I've been wanting to go to Florida relays for a long time. So I had it marked on my calendar. I was counting down the days. I looked at the heat sheets. I looked at everything. Gearing up for it, and like, I saw Belade there. He was in the heat before me. He was like, Cam, you about to go 20 point again? I was like, I'm about to go faster than you, boy. I'm out here. Yeah, you know what I've been doing. I've been in the lab, bro. But like, again, like, my start isn't consistent. My first 40 isn't consistent. So when I got out, I knew that I was behind. Long story short, I ran 21.03, which was like, fuck, that hurt. That hurt. But it's just, then what happened? What was after that? Auburn. Oh, Auburn was a rough one too, because I got lane 3, and Nathan Allen was in lane 4. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna hop onto him, I'm gonna run. And then I don't know why I did this, bro. I don't know why, but like I went higher in my set than usual. So like I was going down, like I was coming on the way down, but on my way down, the gun went off. So I kind of like, and I started running. I ran 21-1. So now I was like, like if I just practiced my start, I'd have like I would just know, it'd be automatic. I wouldn't have to think about it, you know? It wouldn't be like, oh, that was too high, let me come down. I would just automatically do it. But, you know, like, I kind of took a break from the 4, I took a break from the 2, ran the 4 at Georgia Tech, ran 47.9, which should have been faster. Every 400 I ran in high school, I mean in college, every 400 I was like, I should just sprint and just see what happens. Because I felt like if I did that, I would go fast. It wouldn't be pretty for the last 30, but I feel like I could probably go like 47 low if I just like committed and been like, screw it, I'm gonna just go. But every 400, after 100 meters, I'd be like, that's dumb. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? I'm just gonna lock it right here. And then I would still die at 350, so like, I should have just sprinted. And then we went to Penn. Oh, Penn was one of those moments where I was just ecstatic because there was a lot of chirping, there was a lot of talking, bro. There was a lot of talk, cause like, you know, no offense to Justin, but senior year it was my team. Like it was my team. That relay was my team. Like the 4x2, you know, like I know Justin split 20 point, you know, whatever. It was still mine. And like the year before, junior year, we won the IC4A section. So, like, obviously the goal was to repeat. And in Canada, there's this forum called Tracky, where like people talk about track and stuff. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of talk about how we weren't ready, about how we couldn't do it. They were talking about like, you know, I don't know if Cam Nurse can, you know, do what Cam Williams did, blah, blah. I was like, all right, okay, I see y'all. I see it's okay. Wait. All right then. And then in the heats, we lost to LIU, which was like, it hurt because I was anchor. And then in the final, Lambert was like, oh, we're going to move you to third. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm the anchor. I anchor the 4x1. I anchor this. Like, I'm the anchor. That's what I do. But, you know, he wanted to move Justin to anchor because Justin hadn't practiced handoffs or something for the 4x2, which, fine, whatever. And we also made the championship section for that. So, like, we were against the best of the best. And you gave me this, when you gave me the stick, I just like, I felt something different that day. And when I handed off to Justin, it's just like everything that I was feeling, like all like the haters and everything that I was feeling, I felt like, just like I handed it off. It was just gone. And I saw Justin, that's when he split, he split 19, my bad. I disrespected his name. He split 19. But like seeing him split 19, like, and seeing him pass everybody and knowing we were about to win again, I just got so hyped. I started cursing. I was like, yo, this is what we do, guys. This is our shit. This is my shit, bro, blah, blah. And then the official was like, hey, be you.
Yo.
Calm down. I was like, oh yeah, my bad. That was out loud? I didn't even know. I didn't even know, boss. But yeah, Penn Relays was one of those moments where like, it just felt like every moment, now that I speak them out loud in succession, every moment was kind of like self-validation, like what I was feeling was valid. And like, that's what it actually was, like proving people wrong. Even if, you know, what they were saying wasn't like disrespectful.
Like out of the blue, it's like, yo, look at this time. Like,
yeah.
Cam, like, you're this type of runner.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, I see how you came to that conclusion.
Exactly. But like, yeah. like the way I think about it, like the times I wanted to achieve and the things I wanted to do, like the 400 and even the 100, like that was something that other people like kind of put on me.
Yeah.
Like you could do, like you could run 46, maybe 45 if you really commit yourself. You can run 10.5, 10.4 if you really commit yourself. But
Your baby.
like in the 200, I was like, I should run 20 point. That's what I should do. Of course, other people said it too, but like I put that on me, and that's why it meant more to me. But senior year, I still didn't hit 20 point going into Patriot Leagues. That's probably why what happened, but whatever. Heats. Also, if the other people didn't go 20 point, maybe what happened doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
But I was in like the third heat. In the first heat, Billy goes 20.99. In the second heat, that guy from Army, whatever, was 20.98. So then I was like, all right, I gotta show him what's good. And I ran, and off the corner, I was obviously in first because there was no one who could bang me besides those guys. And I started to lift, and I felt something in my hamstring, but I was like, I gotta keep going. Like,
Yeah.
I can't stop. This is my senior year. It's my moment. And then when I crossed the line, I saw the time. It was like 21:2 or something. So I was pissed, and when I started to walk off the track, my hamstring kind of like locked up, and I knew almost instantly what that meant because I pulled my hamstring a lot. So it was, yeah, like I just felt like my season was over. My collegiate career was over in that second. It's over. It's done. So, emotional. I cried a little bit. Yo.
Okay, so you said
Yeah, so my hamstring locked up as I was walking off the track. So, like, having as many injuries as I had, I kind of knew what that meant. I didn't know how serious it was, but I knew that the meet was over.
Yeah.
And most likely my season was over because my time probably wasn't fast enough to make regionals at the time. So, like, I laid on the track because, one, because like my leg hurt, but two, because like it just like everything kind of hit me at once.
Yeah.
I just like didn't feel like I could stand up. So yeah, bro, that was a hard moment. But at the team meeting afterward, when Coach Lambert talked to us, and he said that Nick was replacing me on the relay, I was like, yo, Coach, you can't do this. Like, you can't. Like, I didn't feel like he was ready at the time to do what had to be done. Yeah. No offense, my son, but like, he just like, I didn't feel like he was prepared for the position that we were putting him in to be anchor at conferences.
Don't want to set him up for failure.
Exactly. So I was like, yo, like, just put me in, and if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, we win. It's blessed. But don't do that to him right now, because like putting all that onto a freshman, and if it doesn't work out, then like it's mainly his fault. Don't do that to him, But obviously, he didn't listen to me. And I felt, watching you guys run that day, I felt even worse because you guys were on point. Like, y'all were moving. And then Navy ran what, like 39.7? And we just beat them last week at Penn Relays.
Like, easy.
So I was like, yo, we would have ran like, we would have been moving. We would have been moving that day. So part of me feels like, one, I didn't get the time. Two, I didn't get to run with you guys. So maybe I should have just stopped. off the corner. Because running on it after probably didn't make it better. But hindsight's 2020, you know? I can't really say that. But, you know, after junior year in running 20 point, I was getting funded by Athletics Canada. So I was obligated to run for provincial championships and Canadian championships.
And what other type of funding, like what other things were they giving you besides just like money and how much?
How much were they giving me? I don't remember. I think it was like 3,000. 4,000. Because I was still a college athlete, so like most of my expenses were paid for. It was just for extra stuff like a dietitian, massages, food to go with the diet plan, etc. So they weren't paying my living or anything like that. So, but I had to restrict my eating for many reasons. One, I was too heavy for what I was doing. And two, they wanted me to move up to the 4. So I was obviously too heavy for that. I'm already too heavy for what I'm doing. Looking back, like, I was huge. I was huge. Like, right now, I feel like I'm a lot smaller than I was. But right now, I'm like 192. So I'm like, yo, what was I running at, bro? Like, was I like breaking 205? Like, what was I doing out here? But like, I had this thing. Once the season started, I never weighed myself because I didn't want to have that in my head. Because I usually started the season around like 188, and by the time racing started, I was probably around like 190, 192. But I didn't want to get that in my head that like I'm carrying 205 pounds around 400 meters. I didn't want to. Why? Doesn't matter. Doesn't affect what I'm about to do tomorrow. So like, I still got to run 400 meters. So I never weighed myself, but just like my physique, I was too top heavy. Like my thighs were too big to run what they wanted me to run the 400. So I had to cut my weight, which the diet was grueling. It wasn't fun. But
do they also give you like training or facilities to use to like help out with that, or just facilities and training in general?
So the place I was talking about in high school, where like everyone in Toronto trains, they made an extension of that be the high performance area. So like they use the same track, but they have like an extra spot for like smoothies and ice baths and athletic trainers. They have their own lifting area too.
It's only for y'all.
Yeah. So you have to have a key card you could tap in. So they have that for us. They have athletic trainers for us, dietitians, psychiatrists if you need them. Everything that you could ever need as an athlete is there. There's a lot of hubs across Canada. I think there's one in Toronto, there's one in Quebec, there's one in BC. I think there's one in Middle Canada, probably. I don't know if anyone lives there, but there's probably one over there. So they developed these hubs I think 2016 to kind of build up Canadian track and field.
Yeah.
So when I was home, I could use the facilities and stuff, but the money was kind of for when I was not home, when I was over here. So when I went home, I wasn't allowed to train with my coach anymore. I had to train with the high performance group, which was kind of a change. A welcome change, because I had people that were running the same event as me and could push me daily.
How big was the team that you were training with? Like one coach, two coach, 3 training partners?
The high performance team?
Yeah, high performance.
I had 3 training partners, 1 coach. And there was other short sprinters that we would train with for block day, speed day, but they weren't with us on a day-to-day. So It was 3 people, including myself, doing long sprint workouts. Because after I graduated, I immediately switched gears to run the 400. Even though I wanted to, rehab and take a crack at the 200 again, see if I could get, 20-point low, 20-point mid. Because I felt like if I run 20.4 in, 2018? Then by 2020, who's saying I can't run 19? Like, there's no reason why you would say I can't run 19. So I felt like if they gave me the summer to do that, then it would be a valid petition to let me continue. But they weren't for that because they already have Andre, Rodney, Aaron, Gavin, Balade, all them running 20-point low. So they didn't need another person for that. They need someone running 45 consistently, 44. So that wasn't what they wanted from me. So, and if they're giving you the money and giving you the facilities and whatnot, they can kind of dictate what you do. So the goal for that summer was to get back to 20-point high, 20.7 hopefully, and run like 47 low, which didn't happen. I ran like 21.1 and 47.9 again, which was fine. I was able to cut my weight down, probably the best shape I'll ever be in my life, because I was ready for Banner. I was out here. Yo, at a certain point, I was like, because after Nationals was like beginning of July, Banner's the beginning of August. So like between July and August, I'm like, I'm keeping this up for Banner, bro. I look nice. I look good right now. I'm keeping this up. But yeah, I got my weight down. I got my stamina up. They had me running like 20 minutes weekly. 30 minutes. And it was like, I thought it was dumb, but it was like, you're supposed to run, and then it was 30 minutes of nonstop movement. So like when you need a break, like you could like do like a little tippy tap jog, but when you're running, like you're supposed to be running. It's not jogging. And I was like, that seems like excessive, but whatever. I don't know how to train for the 400. I've never done it. So if this is what it takes, it's what it takes. And yeah, man, my senior year ended at Nationals, Canadian Nationals. I ran 21.3 again. Pulled my hamstring off the corner again. Didn't make the final. And then I didn't realize that would be the last Canadian Nationals I was at. Like, I always felt like I'll be back. Maybe we run the 4, but I'll be back. And yeah, I wasn't. Yeah. So
like, just trying to get a better idea on like what was the decision making, because I know doing BME all through school, and you said you're in your PhD program now, so was the academic career stuff, one of the bigger factors on not pursuing college, or was it injuries, or was it just like, not getting that thrill from that junior year excitement, that, Penn Realistic excitement, like which of the...
Kind of like a combination of everything. It was just, I don't know, like, one, I was training for the 4.
Yes.
I don't love the 4. Anyone who loves the 4 is crazy. No offense. 2, when I came back to school, I was doing it alone. I didn't have my training partners. I didn't have a coach for a long time. I didn't have a coach. I reached out to Tremaine at Northeastern. I started coaching with them, and then I asked her if she would train me. and she said that she'd get back to me. And by the time she got back to me, I decided to stop already. So I didn't have a coach for the time that I was here. I think the year I graduated kind of affected my decision. A lot of my friends who were on the youth team with me and like in the pool of the next generation had decided to take time off to focus primarily on track until 2020, so until this year. But 2 years kind of felt like a long time for me. If I graduated last year, I could see myself being like, oh, I'll just take a year and see what happens. But 2 years kind of felt like in 2 years I could have a master's. You know, like in 2 years I could do a lot. I could do a lot in 2 years. In a year, like I could make that up. But I felt like 2 years was a long time. So I decided to do both, which wasn't a great idea. Just like there's a lot of things that you don't realize or like you take for granted as either, you know, because from junior year to senior year, I was always taken care of. Like either BU took care of me or Athletics Canada took care of me. There was never a time where, even before that, like my parents were taking care of me. But there was never a time where I had to like, you know, decide things for myself or organize things myself. So it was just a big change to like understand what it takes to be a high performance athlete. You know, like I wanted to keep up my diet, which means I had to buy better groceries. It means I have to buy protein powder. I have to buy vitamins. I have to buy supplements. So it got expensive. And I feel like since I wasn't I wasn't in the group that I described before, like that loves the sport. Like I loved the success and I loved the moments that came with the sport. I loved the day-to-day where like I'm with my teammates joking around even though we're dying and stuff. Being alone and like having to do workouts alone. Yeah. Like when you don't love working out, it sucks. Like it sucks. And like I don't know what like was the breaking point. I kind of just decided like either it's something I decided for a long time. Either I'm gonna stop my program and I'm gonna go home and train, or I'm not running anymore. Like a choice had to be made because being here in Boston wasn't conducive to the kind of performances I wanted to put out. So I had to decide whether or not I wanted to be here and do school or go home and do track full time with the high performance group. And I decided that I wanted to continue school. I think a main reason for that was that they would move me up to the 4. If I got to run the 2, I think it would have been a harder decision, a decision that might have ended up with me running for a little longer. But with the 4, like I didn't love it.
It's training.
I didn't love it. And like the training was hard, and I just didn't have that same passion for it. So yeah, all those things kind of like came together for me to make this decision. It wasn't an easy decision. Yeah. Because like, as I said, I love the moments, and making the Olympic team would be a moment. You know, making the world team would have been a moment. Making the world relay team would have been a moment that I remember forever. But like, I just wasn't willing to put my future on hold for the possibility of maybe doing something, you know, because the thing about belief, right, is that when you believe something is different than when other people believe things for you, you know? Like for me, like for the 200, right? I believe that I'm that kind of, like that I got that talent. I got that kind of speed, that kind of talent in the 200. So me, if you're the Olympic coach and you say, Cameron, I think you could do this in the 200, I'm already thinking that. So like, let's do it. You know, it's less of a maybe for me if they said the 200. But in the 4, I know that based on my 200 and based on my physique and how I run my 200, I should run 45 seconds. But nothing in my experiences have shown me that I can do that. Like, yeah, I've run 33 seconds in the 3, but it wasn't the way a 400 person would run it, you know? Yeah, I've run 103? But it was, 103 in the 5, but it wasn't the way a 400 person would run it. Like, I never ran a fast time in the manner that I think 400 people do those times. So it was more of a long shot for me to be like, yeah, I'm definitely about to make the Olympic team in the 400. Because I never had that kind of belief in my 400, my long sprint events, anything over 300 meters, 250, anything over 250. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I think it worked out for the best. When this season started, and like, you know, Dwayne and Justin and Maya and Leia and everyone was like, Road to Tokyo, it kind of hit me. Like, damn. Like this was my group. Like, I grew up with these people in the sport, and then they're training for something that I'm not. You know, they make the team. Would I be like, oh, what could I have made the team?
Yeah.
You know, it's always going to be a maybe. It was going to be a if. But now I could just talk shit forever. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, yo, you only made the team because I quit. If I was still running, whew, dang, you'd have no Olympic teams. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
One of my last few questions is, how do you still, besides, talking shit, still connect with track, or at least, find, maybe not track related, find your own little moments of like, I had a goal, I was meticulous, I set it out, I achieved it, man, I have this really good feeling now. Like,
See, I hate to burst your bubble, fam, but like, there's nothing like sports. Like, there's nothing like it. Like, there's just, like, there's nothing that will make you so excited that you want to scream ever again in life. Like, I'm sure when I have my first baby, I'm going to be very excited. But I'm not going to just start screaming because, like,
doctor's like, yo, calm down.
the baby going to be like, what's wrong with you, man? Like, relax, you know? Or like at my wedding, I'm gonna be very excited. I'm not gonna start screaming. Like, it's just a different kind of like feeling. Graduating is kind of like that feeling, but like more emotional than like than exhilarating. Yeah. But I still connect with track. I still volunteer coach with the BU and Northeastern teams sometimes. I don't think the coaches know that I do both. If they watch this, they gonna know that I've been helping both sides. But yeah, I still volunteer. Like, there's still a lot I feel I can give to the sport, a lot of knowledge I want to give to the next generation. Because, like, if anything, I know what it takes to be semi-great, you know what I'm saying? I didn't make it to the top of the mountain because, in my opinion,
you're on the
injuries.
Path. You're in the cohort, you know.
Yeah, in my opinion, it was injuries, but whether or not I was injured, I didn't make it. Like, that's what history will show, that I didn't make it. But those who know, they know.
They're thankful.
But I still try and give back. My thesis is on running, which has been fun to kind of like analyze running in a scientific way, because I'm used to analyzing running, like looking at how you run and be like, oh, you should probably like not sit so much, or like you kind of back kick when you do this, but like quantifying that has been fun. So kind of like melding my two worlds of engineering and athletics has been interesting. My thesis would probably kind of follow the same kind of path, but diverging into more wearable technologies, but that's a tangent that we don't have to get into. But I don't know, I just kind of like mentoring. I don't know if I like coaching and like developing plans, but I like giving tips and giving tips and reaching out, making sure that people are good and focused and they need help, got questions, need advice. I'm here because I know what it's like to be in those situations, to feel frustrated with training, to feel like you're not gonna achieve your goal this year or all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
That wraps it up, It's not much.
Word.
Sign out. Yeah, any last message, last advice, last lecture points?
Shout out to the Six.
Any shout out?
Boy Drake.
Or shout out to Six Side, obviously, Toronto repping it. Shout out to Etobicoke Track and Field, where it all started. Marceau, Malik, you know who it is. Man, just shout out just track and field in general, man. It's an underrated sport for real. People think that you don't need to be athletic to do track, but they're wrong. Only athletic people do track well. Only athletic people do track well. There's still there's some people that aren't athletic that do track, but they don't do.
Heat 36.
They should really have qualifying times for Valentine, bro, because it's crazy out here. It's crazy out here. You got men running 26. Come on, bro. Come on, dog. If you're not 60 years old, come on, bro. Let's get off the track. Yeah, dog, but it's been fun. I appreciate what y'all are doing. Wish you did it a little earlier, because, your boy needed it. But it's good, bro. That whole censoring thing, it stopped halfway through the interview.
Yeah.